man, Yuji is not looking too good. Like he got laid out this chapter. Like he's getting smacked the fuck around. But luckily his buddy comes in. The guy who is Yuji doesn't see as close to him, but he sees Yuji close to him. That being the big man Todo. And Todo is strong in both what we've seen, but also he's been hyped up in a high position that we know that he is one of the people that they have like put up, like, you know, he will become a level of like Satoru one day, kind of like Yuta. Like Yuta is one of those people that's been completely just put on a big ass pedestal, and Todo is pretty close too. Like I don't think Todo's hype is as big as Yuta's, not even close, but Todo definitely has the potential. He's got the presence, and he works really well with Yuji, so I can see it really, you know, happening in the long run. But like we get like a flashback at the start of this, like it's the main cast, Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi all hanging out, and they accidentally spill coffee onto one of Satoru's shirts, and they're trying to like figure out what they can do about this, and they're like, okay, well, look at the price for it, and it's this shit, like this shirt is worth, I think that's like 250,000 yen, so we're like, I think that's like $2,500 or something ridiculous, and then it's like, holy shit, like how are we gonna go about this? They're like trying to form like an idea, and they're like, we'll each put in 90,000 yen, so each like $900, you know, $800 to $900. It'll just looking exceptionally like an unfortunate amount of money just to drop on a shirt. It's not like they're putting a down payment on somebody's car or something. It's like, no, they're buying a shirt. And you have this kind of like a little bit of a comedic scene with them, and, you know, like Satoru's like coming back, and like Megumi's like stuffed in his shirt, and even though they screwed up, like it's kind of like a funny moment for him, and then it just pans back, and Kugisaki, she's got like a messed up face, she's missing an eye, there's just blood splatter everywhere, and I'm really hoping that she lives. I'm really hoping she lives. Like, we know that you know, one of the medical people showed up to help, but that doesn't mean for sure that she's gonna make it out. But I'm really hoping she does. I really don't want her to die. I don't want anything bad to happen. Like, the thing about the series that's really weird in terms of its story structure is it takes place in the past compared to like present day, because it's like, you know, I think it's like 2019 or 2018 that this incident happened. So we're reading, or like the story is being told almost like they're reading like case files off of, you know, incidents regarding, like, you know, Sukuna's revival, you know, all this crazy stuff that's happened in the past, assuming that like the fact that it takes place like in the past compared to our time is on purpose. Like, I feel like it's on purpose, and I think it really just opens up ominous and dark settings for the future. But Yuji is just in a bad place, like losing to, like, explain it, like losing to Tojo, Nanami's death, Sukuna's rampage. These are all things that have just broken down Yuji's resolve, and now like it's just in a bad spot. And during that opening, Mahito just rushes in and starts giving him the works. Like, he's giving this guy the hands, and he even gets a black flash off on him. And they bring up, like, the series brings up a good point that the you know, black flash, it's not something exclusive to, you know, the protagonist. It's something anybody with cursed energy could use. So I like that, because I never really thought too much of like the idea of any of the villains getting it. So again, I really like the fact that was brought up in this chapter, because it's an easy thing to really wrap your head around, because like, okay, yeah, they never said it has to go one way, or really explain like it only go one way. It makes perfect sense of why you'd be able to be like, oh, okay, yeah, so it means he can get it too, or any of the villains can get it, which still makes it like a big opening of progress in other scenes, like what happens in fights where the bad guys can get it, like this one, but in other scenarios. And Yuji's just getting the shit kicked out of him. I mean, he does bring up how, like, oh, you know, you thought this was gonna be like some story mode mission or something like easy, but like this is a war, a clash between like different ideals and truths, and he's just given him such a massive beating, and not even using like any of his bigger powers. Like, he's not turning his hand into like different bladed weapons. Like, if he wanted to during this opening, he could have like cut Yuji's head off, but he just wanted to beat the shit out of him. And near the end, he ends up turning his hand into like, you know, like a big bladed sickle, like weird spiky bug sickle, and gets ready to go. And I didn't want to say like a praying mantis arm, because theirs are for grabbing stuff. They're not like actual serrated blades. And right when he goes to slash, he ends up in a different spot because Todo comes in, and Todo uses his ability to switch places with Mahito, save Yuji. And one thing I really liked about this is like he comes in and he has this kind of like poetry like minute. He's like, the sound of the Gion Shoja bells echoes the appearance of all things. The color of the Sala flowers reveals the truth that the prosperous must decline. However, we are the exception. And the thing about that I really like, because I wanted to read it out the whole thing, and because I wanted to go over the reason I just liked it in general, is I like that you have some of the people, like some of the big people, like Satoru, like they have like almost like a poetry thing that they say that is set to their character. Like Satoru has like, you know, throughout the heavens and earth, I alone am the honored one, and Sukuna has said that too. So I like that these statements, these like almost like religious poetry kind of like mantras, are almost like a battle cry to these guys in a way. And I do think that's really cool. It's something that they just kind of like go about during their fights. But now, like Mahito's getting ready to throw hands with Todo, and Todo, like I said, Todo has already been hyped. Todo has been put up by a pretty big position. You have Yuta, you know, have the kind of almost mentorship and you know, power-wise endorsement from Satoru, one of the 4 special grade people. And Yuta became one of the 4 special grades as well, because it was Geto, Satoru, Yuki, and Yuta. And Yuki, she pretty much was the same way for Todo. Like, she found Todo, we've seen her in his flashbacks, and obviously we found out who she was in the flashback arc when Geto talked to her. But now he's here, he's ready to fight. Like I said, he's got a lot of hype around him. We've seen like him keep up with the special grade before, so I think he'll do fine in terms of how well he can do against Mahito. And if he can get Yuji back on his feet, because he clearly wants Yuji to get up and fight with him, then I think they have a good chance of winning. I think they have a good chance of beating Mahito together, make it so Mahito has to retreat and, you know, just pull out of this fight. And we have this character Arata Nita, who is like a medic, and you know is here to try and heal Kugisaki. Again, need that real bad, because I don't want her character to die. And he's even like, this character's even like, oh, she's probably dead, but please don't make it sound like it was my fault later. And it's like, she's in a critical spot, but dude, you will be high on my list of characters if you can save her. Like, I will really appreciate it, because we've already lost a good amount of characters already. Things have just been in complete despair mode, and I don't want to lose anybody else, and especially Kugisaki, because I like her. I already lost Nanami. Nanami was one of my favorites, so it'll be rough if we lose her too. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this, tell me your thoughts about this chapter and everything going on. Again, this was some crazy times, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Todo step up and just give Mahito the work. I'm happy that he's gonna be able just to completely just start like punching the shit out of him, and because it's not gonna be as like with Kugisaki, like if Kugisaki showed up, or somebody like with her power, like obviously she's down, but I'd be like in the idea of somebody who's more of like a technique kind of like special move type exorcist, it'd still be cool. But the thing I like about Todo is Todo's all hands, so he's just gonna be beating the shit out of Mahito anytime he lands attacks. It's not, oh, I'm using a range technique, or you know, I'm sending in you know, it's not like Megumi sending like a Shikigami do stuff. No, Todo is gonna just be giving cold clocks left and right, just completely like putting brute force down on Mahito, and he's gonna be absolutely smacking the shit out of him. I can't wait to see how exactly this fight goes. Yuji needs to get up. I feel like Yuji still has the ability to, like, if he can get like some Sukuna heals and get back to his feet, because the thing that was a big threat to him wasn't, oh, he could be physically defeated, because we know that he has like with Sukuna's side of things, a healing factor. There's obviously the side of Sukuna that's in him, but It's the breaking of Yuji's will and his resolve that was the big thing, because even in times where Sukuna takes over, Yuji has been able to pull back and take control, but that's because of his will and like his own personality and again his strength to do that. It's a spiritual strength, and here we're seeing that really crumble away and be in a very bad position. That's one of the things also again I really like Todo doing here, because Todo is going to help strengthen and rebuild that resolve. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.